That's America's ass.
Oh, that's just America's ass. Welcome back, everybody. So it's kind of a weird situation. So, of course, this has to happen to every single podcast that has ever existed or will exist. I lost the audio for about, I think it was probably the first 15, 20 minutes of this podcast. So I'm just doing a slight intro. So Carl Rivers, our resident Captain America, was the one who actually said that opening line. I kind of tried to do it justice. It didn't really work. And that's okay. That happens sometimes. And it was kind of the same thing. I feel like we sucked this movie's dick harder than just about, well, let's just say Peggy Olsen sucked Captain America's dick after he transferred back in time, even though it didn't make any logical, canonical sense. We kind of repeated. It's even for a 3-hour movie, it's kind of hard to not talk about the really good stuff and kind of talk about the bad stuff. So we didn't do a commercial this week. Grant also didn't send anything in. We were hoping that we might possibly get him on the phone or Skype or something to actually talk about this, because this was a movie he actually saw the day before we were recording, but that didn't work out. So yeah, enjoy this partial podcast, but it kind of happens to everybody, so sorry about that. Bye. Okay, that was a brief interruption. Okay. And we're back. Okay, so, wow, that really killed the vibe. But, yeah, so this is kind of like, I mean, Game of Thrones is back. This movie is kind of like the weird hodgepodge version of Game of advertisements. I mean,
with Audi.
You get Audi, you get
Axe body spray.
A giant ass Ben and Jerry's thing.
There was a Ben and Jerry's thing?
Yeah. When they're trying to talk about...
How hasn't, shawarma been brought up in the series again? That should have been, their running thing is,
shawarma?
We won the day, let's get shawarma.
That was the after credit sequence of Avengers, wasn't it? They go and get shawarma at this shawarma spot. Well, is it going to be just
it's a
our spot
thing.
now is after
shawarma.
A baseball team wins, they go to Perkins or something for the award ceremony. Yeah. And for this,
Tony Stark buys out the shawarma place.
Jesus, Tony Shawarma. Only shawarma. Avengers can come here.
Yeah.
No, but then, yeah, so there's Ben and Jerry's, there was Audi, there was Axe, then there was,
Pepsi.
Fortnite. There wasn't Pepsi.
Yep.
Yeah, Fortnite, the game that's so relevant in 5 years after half of the population has been annihilated.
At least Fortnite's
At least
still around.
Fortnite is still playing, and Noob Killer 69 is bullying people.
Was that his name?
God.
Noob Killer 69?
I'm pretty sure it was Noob.
It was something.
Yeah,
it was definitely
I think
not
it was
69.
Yeah, it was. It 100% was.
Okay.
Yeah, Noob Killer 69. Okay,
I wanted that movie.
What?
Thor just hanging out with his boys, just playing video games.
Thor wasn't playing.
Well, yeah, he was harassing children.
Yeah, that's all he did. Yeah, I will fly over to your house and beat the living shit out of you, so that then go run to your dad. I don't know. Yeah, so criticism. So
well, yeah.
Wally, what was your? Yeah, it's 3 hours. So this is gonna be a 20-hour podcast.
Yes. It's only fair.
Yeah, it's only fair. We're going to break down every single minute. We're going to take 4 minutes per minute. So, Wally, I guess we'll go favorite scene or...
Okay, favorite scene. Gosh. I feel like, Carl, I did really love this movie from beginning to end, but there were definitely scenes where, the nerd in you is going to, enjoy when Captain America's hand is, he reaches out his hand and he grabs Thor's hammer, and he's like, "Oh, that was a satisfying thing from 5 movies ago that they foreshadowed that."
Yeah,
that he can do.
Age
that.
of Ultron.
And
it just becomes comic book madness at that point, and I always like a good action scene. And this, there's a lot going on, but it is relatively easy to see what's going on. It feels like. People might say that the final battle feels like what the Civil War battle should have been. Because if you look at the Civil War comics, there's that many characters at that point in time in the comics. So they were able to bring that in for this movie. And I don't know, like, you know, some people might complain like, oh, it's too much. Like, this movie's like, it's trying to be really epic. I feel like at least this one like earns that title of being that, because we spent 20 movies. Like, the finale better be like this.
Yeah, it better be epic.
Over the top thing. So
yeah. Okay. Yeah. So Carl, what would you say favorite? So we have Mjolnir. Choosing Captain America. Fat Thor, was phenomenal. I mean,
favorite actor.
He better be
the
fat in
whole
all
movie.
his movies from now on. Like,
honestly,
if I see Chris Hemsworth in another movie now, I'm like,
honestly,
why
I wouldn't
ain't he
be
fat?
surprised if in Guardians 3 they have like this little montage of him doing like a 6-minute
probably-
abs workout, and
It'll
then
be-
boom, gone. He's
You
got his
just
six
wrote
pack.
the beginning. To Guardians
you
of the
just
Galaxy.
wrote the cold open of just him.
Yeah, with like a pink sweatband on, like he's
Yeah.
wearing like
100%. Like, it's him just like, doing random workouts around the ship. And
you
Quill,
see he's benching Groot, you know.
Oh, that's I would not be surprised that ends up being exactly what the intro to Guardians 3 is going to be. Okay.
But favorite scene. Honestly, you guys aren't a big fan of this scene, but I actually did enjoy the Black Widow versus Hawkeye scene.
Oh, that was your favorite scene?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
It's
one
your
of them.
favorite scene?
It's one of them. I mean, he did mention my favorite scene, which is the Captain
me
America.
and
getting
Carl
back.
both freaked out.
But
Well,
like
yeah,
our
I mean,
minds
that's-
were like blown.
That's
at
legitimate.
That scene.
Well, you kind of
They
have to
did
expect.
that?
Well, but that's Well,
How'd
yeah.
they do
well,
that?
when we saw how'd they do that? It's called computer graphics. No, but I mean that was the cheer moment for
Yes,
like I mean the people
for sure.
behind us were like, yeah, because that's when he also says Avengers Assemble
Yeah,
for
that
the
was also
finally.
a
Like
big,
that's
moment.
that's that whole sequence. Oh, there's no pocket. That whole sequence is like the the like culmination of everything.
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
like that.
It's like what the first 2 hours of
Everybody
the
comes
movie
back.
was
Yeah.
leading
I
up
feel
to.
like-
the first like 20 movies of this series, like that's the whole thing, is that everybody's back.
Yeah.
Everybody's fighting this threat. This is when it was bleak. Now
I feel
the
like
tables have
if you
turned.
did like the first 2/3 of this movie, I can kind of understand like the time travel stuff does get kind of confusing, but I mean, at the end of the day, we just want to see these characters beat the shit out of each other, and
Yeah.
we get to see that.
Yeah,
at the end,
however, they get to a point where you get the final Helm's Deep type battle,
Yeah,
or
we
like,
want that, yeah.
we need that. That's that's all that. Whatever they chose to do before that doesn't matter, because that's what we want. That's all we want. They could have had a
And-
3-hour movie of
well-
just that fight scene and just been way more detailed, and
Yeah.
I think everybody would have been happy.
I guess
Yeah.
we were asking like favorite parts. I feel my favorite act of this movie was the first act of the movie. Like, I do like the stuff at the end. It's like kind of what you expect, just on a grander scale, and I did like that. I do like that we can have emotional resonance in this movie, where we can see where these characters are 5 years after this like really traumatic event. I'm like, that's not every superhero movie is going to do that. Like, that feels a little bit more real. Like, we can see like some are adjusting better than others. I really enjoyed that.
Not every movie does it. I mean, that's like Batman. What is it? Batman the Backbreaker one. That's like the
Bane.
whole first part. Yeah. What
Yeah.
is it? Batman Rises, Dark Knight Rises.
Well, he gets
That's like
a
that
leg
first
brace
beat of
after
that.
yeah.
He gets a leg brace, but then also you go through, after he gets his back broken, you go through the whole thing of him like slowly building up in this prison till he can
But that's
finally
just
get
one
out.
character. I'm more fascinated with seeing like how it affects like a group of characters rather than just one character.
Okay. Fuck you. No. I'm just-
What is your favorite?
No, I gotta say that, like, and maybe it's just not, but like I never had like such a visceral reaction to any of these movies as just seeing Tony Stark just like basically brain dead at the very end, and like
yeah.
barely holding on, and everybody else is just like trying to find a way to get into it to let him know that they're okay, and then Pepper Potts comes up and says, you can rest now.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
Jesus.
I was tearing up.
Oh
at that
God,
point.
dude, like that. I mean,
They're
just
like,
seeing.
it's okay, Robert. You don't have to do any more of these movies.
Yeah, we know you kind of been phoning it in.
We've
not
noticed.
true, not true. But no, I mean he's like Robert Downey Jr. is just so great. Like I said, he's like I love Robert Downey Jr. as an actor and as Iron Man.
Yeah, it's
not necessarily all these movies. So like seeing, well, like because like when
And
they
he's
go on
the
these
one that
press
started
tours,
all of
and when he
this.
goes on these press tours, like you can tell like he just loves this
He loves
stuff.
this-
Like
yeah.
He loves having this
he loves bringing
franchise.
the joy.
But
that-
he
that
understand like I feel like Chris Evans is kind of he's kind of a dick about like he's just like no I want to be done like I'm sick of this and I feel like Robert Downey Jr. is just like I think like he cares about the story but he cares about the progression of the story. I think he realized I need to be like my journey's ended, like what you guys have set up for Phase 4 can go on without me and like I'm okay with that, whereas Chris Evans was just like, no, I'm sick of doing these. I don't want to be considered this. But
But at the end of the day, they also did Captain America justice at the end
oh
of the
no,
movie.
no, I'm not.
I love what
I'm
they're
not
doing
saying.
with that.
Yeah, I'm
actor.
talking about
Yeah.
the actor, not
Yeah.
Captain America. Well, I do have criticisms
I-
with
I
that as
do-
well because
Yeah,
it doesn't work.
it doesn't.
They
yeah,
literally
it actually
spend-
doesn't make any
They
sense.
spent an hour of the movie trying to explain time travel, and then at the end, he just gets to do whatever he wants. When he jumps back and stays in the
he
past,
does change
he
history.
he goes into a separate timeline.
Yeah,
That was the thing.
but he did return
After
all the
watching this-
stones.
Yeah.
Yes, but that
After
still
watching
changes.
This, like I was
changes
talking
the
about
past.
Carl with this, like, yeah, the whole time travel thing. I, even though they do explain in the movie, it's not like a Back to the Future thing where you go back in time and change by changing something in that past you change your future. It doesn't work that way in this movie. It's more like Dragon Ball, where like future Trunks goes back in time and it's a different timeline. So like he changes their past, but he goes back to his present time and like it's still a post-apocalypse world where there's like androids, but he has the skills. So it's more
So
it's
if
those kind of
he
rules.
were to, he couldn't have just lived his life in that past and then arrived back in the same timeline
As
as an old man.
80-year-old
No,
man,
you
yeah.
couldn't do that because it would be a different
He w-
timeline.
Yeah.
Unless you're saying that the timeline, like it just doesn't make sense. That's
I
what they
feel
laid out in the movie, and they seemed all holier than thou about. Oh, we finally figured out how to do a movie version of time travel. It's like
They did. The whole thing with that scene is like there's plenty of movies where they'll like kind of mess with their like logic just so that moment is more impactful. Like him coming back like as an old man like in that suit, like what would that scene be? It would just be like him falling over and like trying to catch his breath. Like in this it's like it's a little bit more poetic. It's like, oh, like we don't know exactly who it is. He's sitting on a bench. Like
oh, we
he's
know
rest-
who it is.
I mean, we fucking know who it is.
you know
but,
who
like,
it is.
it's the way it's shot. It's like,
Yeah.
it's beautifully done. Yes, there's no logic put into it.
But also, I don't get like
Because, like,
why he doesn't want to talk about Peggy was super weird. Like you
wait,
think
he doesn't want
no,
to.
he
because,
goes. He goes.
he
He
hands Falcon
hands
the
him the
the
shield,
shield.
and he has the ring on. And Falcon goes, "Do you want to tell me about it?" And he goes, "No, I don't think I do." And then it soft fades out. It's like what? It's like it makes no sense.
Because he dies at that point. He just dies.
No, I don't think I do. And then he just like purses his lips like an old ass man. And then like he looked just like
It's
Clint
like,
Eastwood.
He did lots of butt stuff.
Tons. All the
Tons
butt
of
stuff.
butt stuff.
I ate her ass like
So
groceries.
much, And that's the scene it ends on. Him.
That's the scene. You hear the like old timey music, and it kind of it
Yeah.
shows this
Just hardcore
like
stuff.
beautiful little house,
my God.
and it zooms into their bedroom, and it's just Captain America eating Peggy Olsen, or what is it, Peggy? Is it Olsen?
Peggy Carter.
Peggy Carter's
Carter.
ass.
That is, yeah. That's
great.
how you end a 10-year
That's how you end a
franchise.
10-year franchise and a like 9-year character.
Fantastic.
Fantastic. Just so great. No, but okay, here is one weird thing.
Okay, are we going in like the what? I guess we're going into like what the fuck mode.
Yeah, we'll do
Well, I guess Quinn already had his then with the whole Captain America.
Well, no, that's no, yeah, I guess that can be my
I mean,
what the
there's
fuck
a-
moment.
there's
I was gonna jump to something different and just say
like a what the fuck moment could be like a positive thing.
yeah,
too.
yeah. But I was just gonna say that apparently the Russo brothers confirmed that Far From Home is post this movie.
Okay.
So, but doesn't that piss you guys off?
Not really.
Because
I mean,
nobody in that
they
school.
explained why.
They said
how it
everybody
happened.
in the school got snapped.
Not everybody. Not everybody.
What does that mean? So who did? Just random people we don't give a shit
Yeah,
about.
like
Peter-
it is
all
weird
of the
'cause it's
all
like-
of the main
Parker's classmates,
back
like
5 years later,
Mary
but-
Jane,
Yeah.
Flash Thompson, those guys got snapped.
No,
So
yeah, like
it-
everybody
it-
who
so, like,
matters in that
it-
school got snapped.
pretty much.
So,
but then
are there
the
like
ones-
kids that are like they're 5 years older, but they didn't age in that
No,
time? Because when they
no,
come back, they come
ones-
back like they did 5 years
Yeah,
ago.
so
Yeah.
there's people who were in his class that have graduated high school and are now in college.
Yeah.
Yeah, and moved
Or-
on.
yeah.
From
But
those
they
events.
don't matter to the series, so it's okay. We're gonna get away with it. It's like they basically,
Yeah, that's kind of cutting corners. Like,
yeah, it's don't. It's like
it,
don't.
and again, like when you add time travel, that's gonna like fuck everything up.
Oh yeah. I mean,
It
Tony
fucks
Stark
everything
says
up.
it, is that when you fuck up time, time tries to fuck you
Fuck
back.
you back, yeah. It's a
I
little nifty.
bastardize that quote. But Carl, okay, what's your what the fuck moment? When Captain America was eating Peggy's ass.
Yeah.
Oh,
that is
no.
it.
Oh, I guess my what the fuck moments were like. You said they could be positive, so it would be like revisiting older movies.
Yeah, that was
Like,
nice.
that was
It's
I
so
like,
liked
cool.
it.
That was
It was
so-
so
yeah.
well done too.
it's like
Oh, God.
Avengers is not that old of a movie, but it's like at this point we have like a nostalgia towards the first.
and,
Well, no,
and
but
then you
then
have
you see-
Professor Hulk like looking
Yeah.
at himself, going, "I can't believe that was me." And then he's like trying to act
S-
like
yeah.
his
He's like,
older
smash a
self,
few
and then he's
things.
just like, boom.
Yeah,
boom.
he throws the moped.
I
Yeah.
did. Okay, that is something about this movie. Like, we do get to see Captain America, Thor, and Iron Man fight Thanos. It's like if Hulk would have like hulked out at that moment, like, he can still like bring out this like rage. Like, they could have beat Thanos right there because he didn't have any of the stones or anything.
No, yeah, they could have, but he was trapped.
He was Chad.
That's the thing, he was trapped. Ant-Man had to save him.
I like Big Dumb Hulk. Like, that's the best version of Hulk, and I do like where they're like, we can actually make this character grow. I'm like, this makes sense as a progression, but I'm always gonna like that Big Dumb Hulk.
He also became a joke. Like Jesus, he was dabbing.
Oh yeah, he did that.
He's like,
and-
kids,
Yeah.
dab, and they're just walking away, and he's like, your mother knows better. Fuck you. It's like Jesus, yeah. But
a lot of, I don't know.
no,
Cringeworthy
I do
Marvel jokes.
have a positive what the fuck moment too that
Okay.
I would say. So I'll let you go first though.
Mine was also a positive what the fuck moment when we saw Tilda Swinton again.
Oh hell
as
yeah,
the-
that was great.
It's the old Doctor Strange. Or the ancient one, or
Yeah.
whatever her character was
Yeah,
called. Like,
yeah.
she's a great actress, and it was fun to see her in this movie.
Well, yeah, they
so
brought.
I never thought she was gonna. I thought, yeah, it was just a one and done thing. So
Yeah, no,
fun to
they
see
they
her in the
brought
movie.
everybody back basically. Who
the
like,
Hydra people.
yeah, the Hydra people.
that
Yeah.
was a good scene.
That
too.
was a good
Yeah.
scene too. Is like Brad is just like, oh shit, they're gonna do the same
Yeah,
elevator
and you
scene,
thought,
and I
yeah,
was
the
just like,
same thing too
I'm
when
like,
we saw that. They're like,
well,
oh, they're
yeah,
doing this
exactly. And
again.
I'm just like,
Yeah.
I'm sitting there, I'm like,
Yeah,
oh,
Hydra.
Brad, you're gonna be so pumped because like it was such a cool moment that referenced the comics because there is like a whole comic thing where he is a Hydra agent,
yeah.
like.
and that's one of the Easter eggs
Yeah,
too.
that's an Easter egg. Yeah, exactly. And then also the kid from Iron Man 3.
Yep.
That apparently
Was
not.
that is that your what the fuck?
No.
moment?
My what the fuck moment is when when Tony Stark meets his dad.
Yeah.
And their whole interaction. I thought that was so good and so like
Yeah.
such a nice thing, especially for the end
was
of
very-
Iron Man's run in this. Is like
I feel like
he
at
finally-
that point, like if if you know movies well enough, like I think that could have been like the moment where you're like, oh, he's gonna die at the end of this
yeah.
movie.
Brad said the
Yeah.
same. Brad's like, oh well, they're kind of like there's
They're
a couple
setting
of
it up,
times
like,
where it's
he's
yeah.
having closure, like with his past and everything. Is like, oh, they're setting him up so he can,
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I do love that too. Because if you go back from like Iron Man 1 to now, like the way they always talked about his relationship with his father was never the best.
Yeah.
And so for him to like have all these moments throughout the whole franchise, just learning more about his father and understanding his
And then
side of the
also getting
relationship.
the, also
you know?
getting
Now
the
at this point,
experience
so-
of like now I have a child that's
Yeah.
been born. I loved her for 5 like and he's like he kind of admits that like you know parenthood and fatherhood isn't as easy as I thought. you know, and even though like I wouldn't say you're the best father, like just hear them talking, he's just like, that's why he's like, thank you for everything. And then at the end, you've done for your country. But
nice save.
yeah, it's like so great. But no, it's just like, you know, recognize, and then you also get the whole like the quote that he always attributed to his father. It's like, oh, so you just gave your dad gave your dad in this universe that quote. Was so I was just like, oh, that's kind of funny that it's just like a spiral.
Yeah.
But
Time travel, man.
Yeah. Also, I mean, Yvette Nicole Brown and Ken Jeong in this, because the Russo brothers. Ken Jeong?
Yeah.
He was when Ant-Man comes out of the thing, he's stuck in the like.
Oh yeah, he was the guy that was working there.
Oh.
Yeah, and he had like a mustache on. Yeah. And then Yvette Nicole Brown was the person who's like, who when she's in the elevator with Captain America and that. Yeah. Like, I didn't realize, but the Russo brothers always have somebody from Community in these movies.
Okay.
And so it was great that they had the two, and she's just, Yvette's just so great because he's just like, oh, one of them had a hippie beard, and then it's like, what is it, the Bee Gees or who's the other one? But then she's like, no, it's the other one, but like a type of beard, and it's like obviously a worse type than the Bee Gees. So
hippie beard.
Yeah, it was so great. But yeah, so that I really liked that scene. I thought it was cool. I like how they brought back Pym and like, made him younger and stuff like Douglas. That. Yeah, like they just brought back everybody who was kind of like ancillary to the story. They kind of brought them back. Like Loki had an appearance. Actually, it had two appearances.
Yeah, it was a Marvel love letter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. And it was nice to see Loki again, because again, that's another character where I'm like, oh, he's not coming back, right?
And in the thing where he gets away in that universe, it's like, holy shit, what's gonna happen with that universe?
So that universe is fucked.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is he's getting his own Disney show on the streaming service.
Yeah. Okay. And Cap and Bucky are getting one too. Yeah. So it's gonna be now we know for sure it's going to be Falcon as Captain America and Bucky, which is going to be dope as hell. Like it's going to be
so. And then Scarlet Witch is getting hers too.
And then Natasha is getting her own. Yeah, Black Widow is getting her own movie too, which is like finally because.
Which wouldn't surprise me with how much they've referenced it. If it was about Budapest,
it's gotta be.
It's
gotta be at least lead. It's probably just gonna be another origin story where we finally look. Because God, every movie in this series has been like, oh, we're referencing this shit with her. It's like they must have known even before they like confirmed that this
green
movie.
Light,
they must have known that this is something they have to do. Is we have to have a Natasha standalone movie or with Hawkeye because
they were maybe not sure how a female superhero movie would do at that point.
Yeah, but still, like they had to know they have to do it because they've referenced it even from the first Avengers.
We gave a Hawkeye movie with him just chilling on the farm.
Okay, I will say, did they age up Jeremy Renner? Because he looked pretty bad when he was
really
Ronin, and
stuff,
and chunkier, And I didn't know if they aged him up or if Jeremy Renner just is like that age now where he kind of looks just like a little. Because
I think he's that age.
Yeah, because
it's like what, in his 40s.
Yeah, but because what's his name?
Tony
Stark.
That,
yeah, Robert Downey Jr. also kind of looked like that. Like he didn't. Didn't look like a superhero. Like specifically Hawkeye, Jeremy Renner didn't look like a superhero.
That's why he had that hood up. He's like, I got fat.
When he took it down and his hair is all wet
too, he held out.
Yeah, and his hair is all wet.
I like that
and
he just looked like a Mortal Kombat character.
Yeah, but then he takes it off and he's just like this old ass dad. He's got a dad bod. It's so hard.
Bigger than Thor.
But then, and then Paul Rudd looks great.
He does. Yeah. He looks fantastic.
Well, he didn't age at all because he was in the quantum.
Well, yeah, but I mean
just
so that's why I'm thinking maybe they aged him up. But like, I think he and Jeremy Renner are probably about the same age. So
probably.
And Jeremy Renner looks way worse.
Yep, Paul Rudd's still fuckable.
Paul Rudd will always be the dad fuckable.
He's the dilf.
Okay, Wally. So what's your what the fuck? No, wait, did we?
We
already did.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you had one more.
No, I said it was when Tony Stark meets his dad. Like that was my positive what the fuck moment.
There's another scene that I want to talk about.
Okay.
Stanley's last cameo
So that's his last cameo.
in all the Marvel films. Yes.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes, this is his last one. That is
Yeah.
like the hard hitting, soul crushing thing because they always have him in a
Yeah,
movie. You
I
know
get it.
that's his thing.
Yeah.
You know,
I feel like if the last good Stanley cameo I think was in Spider-Verse. Like I think that was like perfect as like a send off like to that character too. He's like, oh, like because they're like reminiscing about Spider-Man. He's like, oh, I knew Spider-Man. He's like, eventually like the suit fits everybody. I'm like, that's like a good send off.
That's a good ass quote too.
Yeah.
But well, it's kind of the whole through line of the movie. But also, he was old in Captain Marvel, right?
They made him look a little bit younger. He's supposed to be like 20 years younger at that point.
Okay,
Because he's doing Mallrats. He's doing the Kevin Smith movie.
yeah. But yeah, for this because it was so apparent that like it kind of almost looked like it was just like
Was it a younger? I don't
Yeah,
even
it was
remember
very
this
young. Like
movie.
they aged him down. His hair was brown, and
Okay.
he's like make
just created
love.
Oh, yeah,
Fine.
'cause he
make
was in-
love, not war.
Yep.
But yeah, because that was in the 70s or whatever when they went back in time. Is that the first scene of that is him driving in the car with this young chick.
Yeah.
So it kind of just to me it felt like it's not like I wanted him to be like his current age and like that sort of stuff. This it's like they didn't really even need him. They could have just
cut it
CGI'd
out.
him in,
Yeah.
or CGI'd him in and just had just another
I think
actor
that's
like.
Or
what
they
they'll
could have
do
done-
with
Like,
these
I wouldn't doubt it.
Or
but-
they could have even done what they did with like the Netflix shows and just have like a poster of him or something.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah,
I wouldn't be
they did
surprised if
that
they
in
did
the-
that now.
No.
You
There'll
know,
be,
with
like,
the
yeah,
rest of the
pictures
Marvel
of him,
movies,
yeah.
like pictures on like
Or they just always-
a newspaper, poster, billboard. You know.
Or they always inexplicably end up in a cemetery somewhere, and then you just
Yeah,
see a
it just says
headstone that says
Stanley.
Stanley.
Just
just
something
laugh.
like that.
Yeah, Jesus, Wally. Yes, they laugh. They just go, haha, fuck you, you're
Fuck you.
dead. No, but yeah, like that it didn't hit me nearly as hard because it
Yeah.
was just so like
It's
it almost
silly.
looked like maybe this wasn't his last one. The only reason we know that is because we know that's what they said is that this will be his last cameo before he passed away. But it seemed like
In the Marvel movies, I think he has like
well,
has
yeah, but
one more cameo in like a different movie that I think it's a Kevin Smith movie.
probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so the fact that they totally aged him down to totally like kind of made it seem like they could have just CGI'd him or like made like
Yeah.
they probably did, and it's like, well, why couldn't you just let him be older, like let him
Yeah,
be himself in
There
this
was like
last one?
there was like a fan theory going on that like he's actually one of the watchers of like the
Yeah.
universe, or like he never ages. He's just that's why he's in like all these different like movies and stuff.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so that like that was a good scene, and I'm glad we're talking about it. But yeah, it didn't resonate as much with me
Yeah.
because
It only hurts because it's his last one.
Yeah.
You know.
yeah.
That's the only reason. I mean, otherwise, like you said, it
But it
doesn't
was
really.
such a one-off. Like
It
it
was.
wasn't like they like
I mean, a lot
if
of
anything they could have done.
kind of just a one-off.
But yeah, if this was the last one, they couldn't have lingered on it a little bit
Yeah.
more. I mean, obviously they
favorite
probably didn't
cameo-
realize it, but
What's your favorite Stan Lee cameo?
that's a good one.
Mine's is in Thor Ragnarok, where like he cuts Thor's hair and he's like, "Do your worst," and he's like, "I will."
Then he looks like a babe. Spider-Verse is good, I'd
That
say.
one is very good.
The Spider-Man Homecoming too, when he's the bus driver,
Okay,
is pretty good.
Also like you haven't seen this, but in Age of Ultron, like they have this big party and they like drink
yes,
with him.
yeah.
And there's like an Asgardian.
Oh
drink.
yeah, and he's like, like he's a World War II guy.
Yeah.
and it's him and Thor and Captain America drinking against him,
Mhm.
and he's like, "You young whippersnappers don't know the
like, I
meaning
can
of
handle
tough or
it,
something."
Yeah,
And then he drinks it and he gets like
Yeah,
knocked
he-
his socks off.
Excelsior as he's
Yeah.
getting
Oh yeah,
dragged
he
off.
does say. Oh,
Yep.
He's getting jerked off. Is that
No,
what it
as
is?
he's getting carried
dragged off
out.
Excelsior.
As he's
Oh.
getting because he was so
he went
drunk.
like this, and then I thought you
Yeah,
No,
his hands
because
are
he
behind
had
his
two
head.
people holding him up. He was so drunk.
I thought
you know?
I thought you said when he's getting jerked off, and I'm like,
Like
oh,
Captain
that's a
American Thor,
weird
yeah.
turn.
But
It's
that's
like,
definitely
that's
a
why I
good.
created these characters so they could do this.
So I could get hot dudes to jerk me off.
But
Okay.
that's definitely a good one.
That is
That's
really good.
that's definitely up there. I didn't really care for the movie, but I did like his cameo in it. Was the Dark World Thor movie, where because the scientist
I haven't seen it.
took his shoe and he was talking about how the whole planet's aligning.
Yeah.
And then he's just like, "Can I have my shoe back?"
Oh, okay, yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
nice. Okay. Yeah.
Eh,
Good guy. Rips
You always
Stanley.
9 times out of 10 you always had
Excelsior.
like the comedy scene, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
He
yeah,
was
yeah.
always like that little quip.
Yep.
That just, yeah. So, what's the,
Oh,
yeah, I guess
his,
we'll go
his
in.
thing in Venom. Remember he had a cameo in Venom?
What was he in Venom?
He
Oh, yeah,
he's
right
like,
at the
"You
end,
win,
right?
Yeah, her back, the both of you are like good luck
Yeah.
to the both of you. And
That
he has a
wasn't
little
bad.
dog.
Yeah.
Mm.
And
That
he
was
was his
actually
own
pretty good,
age.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that was, yeah,
He
I
didn't
like
create
that.
Venom, but that's
No,
okay.
you gotta throw it in there every once in a while. Well, did the guy who created Venom, is he still alive? Do
yeah,
you know?
Todd McFarlane, yeah, he's still around.
Okay. Okay, so I guess we'll go into criticisms now.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay, let's go
Here we
Wally
go.
first because he seems revved up.
The whole movie. Let me see.
This sucks. Get out of here.
The time traveling thing again, like that is always a little confusing. The mid part, like yeah, it is all like fan servicey. I could never like really like pin down like a good feeling of pacing for like the middle of the movie. I was like, it did kind of drag on at certain points, and I'm like, okay, I did kind of want to get to the big battle at the end, but yeah, again, that's just kind of comes down to pacing, and I guess like besides pacing issues, my only real complaint. What?
What?
What'd you
No,
say?
keep talking.
My only like real complaint with this movie is
Okay.
it's not fun.
No, I just want to get straight to it.
Just
Fuck oral. Okay.
so Thanos.
Yeah.
Thanos was not as good in this movie as he was in the last one. Like in that one, like he was sympathetic. He's an evil tyrant, but he's that villain that you love to hate. Like he did feel like he had the presence of like a Darth Vader or that like sort of villain. And in this one, he's a little bit more like laid back on that, and he's just kind of evil for the sake of being evil. Like he's just really enjoying loving to be evil. Like I don't know. Like you do need that big battle at the end. That's what they want. So
That's what
Yeah,
you
like-
just said like a minute ago. That like
Yeah.
I in the in the middle of the movie, I'm like, where is this big battle? Don't act like you're.
I love the big battle, but like still, he's just someone for them to punch.
Well, yeah, but
at the
it's
end.
funny that you say Darth Vader because I feel like Darth Vader until you like for most of the movies you don't realize it. Like Darth Vader is just the
presence.
big bad.
Yeah,
But Thanos does have he's a like I totally agree with you. Like the Thanos in this movie is just like a pure evil thing, whereas the Thanos in the other movie, like he's
like,
a
sometimes
perfect.
he would kill you. Sometimes he wouldn't. He just like he would toy with them a lot. He was. I mean, I guess he was going through
That's
more
a weird noise.
going through more of a
like
what's the term like
existential crisis. Because I
Well, he had this power fantasy like completed, like he could do anything he
Yeah.
wanted, like with the glove. So I mean, I think some of that character came from the fact that he could just do whatever he wanted.
But I feel like
And this, he's trying to work towards.
feel
that.
like
And
in
he's
the
like,
last-
they fucked me over. Like,
see, I kind of feel the exact opposite. Like I
Okay.
feel like Thanos in the last movie, he was very much like, no, this is what like he's not gonna toy with you as much because he's not like I feel like the Thanos in that movie was like, and we kind of get it from the like old one is that like
He wouldn't,
he's
like, straight
completing
out,
his
like-
destiny. Like
yeah.
he
Yeah, he was
from-
all business.
like from his point of view, he's doing the morally correct thing for this universe. Like, and he made as a character, he was dynamic because he made you think. You know, like I mean, we go through this. Like our overpopulation issue on this in the world is just like it's kind of like we're struggling
like
to like
this
remedy
movie,
that.
Yeah, that movie brought like an actual problem. But
Yeah.
like, yeah, it's dealing with it in like a very callous way. It's like this is not the way to do it, but this is what he thinks is like morally right, even though we know morally that's
Well,
That's not the right thing to
no,
do.
like it's morally gray. Like
Yeah.
the thing is, it's not like he's just killing the people he doesn't like.
That's
he's
true.
killing
That's
literally. Like you never know when he
He's-
snapped
yeah,
his.
he did. Yeah, he
like,
doesn't
he-
choose.
he-
Yeah, it's like it's
he-
ambiguous.
It is well. It is the most. It is the fairest way to do something. But
Yeah.
everybody knows. Just because it's fair doesn't mean it's right. I
It's
mean,
right, yeah.
you
are
everybody
killing
everybody's seen
people.
that comic strip where it's like equality doesn't equal true equality. Like it's people trying to standing on boxes looking over a fence to see a baseball game, and everybody is the same height box, but the tall person can see over it, but the two shorter people can't.
Right.
Like just because it's equal, just because it's fair, just because it's balanced, doesn't mean everybody isn't the best thing for everybody.
It's yeah.
And so
they're
and
not part. They're people. They're not
Yeah.
part of like a colony. They're not like an army or whatever.
yeah, and that's why I like
A
the
hive mind,
I like
yeah.
the Thanos from Infinity War more is because he wasn't he did kind of bring up like a very interesting conundrum. It's like if you could just like they wouldn't feel any pain, they wouldn't have to die in these horrible ways, and you never know, maybe half of that universe, a decent amount of it would die anyway, just in horrible ways from just the effects of overpopulation. Like there is like this moral question that gets brought up, but then when in this movie,
I mean, that equation is taken out of it.
yeah, he's just evil. He's like
Yeah.
straight evil.
He's trying to get back at. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just
It's not like it's not like he totally understands how the time travel works either. He just
No.
like he wants to get these stones back.
Yeah, he's like it's interesting because that it just shows that even though we didn't see it, the character of Thanos actually did have a good character development arc. Like to get from where he is in Infinity War from the 2012
True.
Thanos, like
Yes.
he does show growth in a not more human, a more fair way or a more like
Yeah.
morally balanced way, but it's
Like,
just not a
yeah.
good way,
I
at least from our points of
The
view.
word I was trying to come up
Yeah.
with is power trip. That's what he
Yes,
like
in this movie, yes, he's just wait.
in this
or
movie.
I would say in this movie compared to the last one,
I feel in this movie he's more like he's just pure evil, more insane. In the last movie, like he's getting the stones one by one, but like he'll do something like he'll like create a diversion for the Guardians of the Galaxy just so he can take like Gamora with him. He doesn't kill Star-Lord. He doesn't kill the Guardians. He changes their anatomy or whatever just to like get them out of there. And he's like, oh, I like this one. Like he's saying, oh, that he likes Star-Lord and everything. So like he's not just like straight up just like killing people. He's like he's going through this power trip where he's like, I am in
He's
control.
toying with them.
but no, I wouldn't say he's toying with them. I'm saying he's waiting for his final plan to like he doesn't want to kill anybody that he doesn't have to kill. He shouldn't be given the choice to kill. So he shouldn't choose
Yeah.
who to kill. That's what the snap is for. Is to without like.
Well, he kills Loki at the beginning.
Well, yeah, but
He was trying to kill him,
Yeah.
though, you know.
like it's like he didn't really have a choice at that point.
He had a choice.
Okay, Wally, he could have died. But that's like I feel like the character of Thanos is complex in that like at least in Infinity War, and then this one I feel like I feel like he's more on a power trip. He's sitting there waiting for somebody else to bring the stones to him.
That
And
is
that
true.
like
yeah.
he's very
I mean-
evil. Like he's just straight
Because he
evil.
already knows that he had done it.
Yeah,
He
it's like
completed
okay,
his
well now,
task.
and then you have to hear the goddamn line again.
I
You hear it
inevitable.
3 times, three
It's
times in
times.
this
Did
fucking
someone
movie.
say
You
he's
hear it.
inevitable?
He says it.
Inevitable.
No, he literally says it at the beginning
Oh,
when
and in the flashback. Right?
in Nebula's mind when the 2012 Thanos is seeing it.
Old man
You
Thanos.
hear it again,
Just-
and then he says it. The 2012 Thanos says it.
Actually, it's the
right-
2014.
Whatever. Yeah, I knew it was something like that. But the 2014 Thanos says it again right before he does the final snap where he doesn't
Yeah.
have the stones. This line is the dumbest line in the whole
It's
movie.
a very generic villain line. It's the mustache twirling.
Even just
villain
how he
line.
says it is like gross. Like it's not a good line reading of it, and he says it the same way all three times.
I think he made it right as
Like he's just
I
like,
think
they
wanted him. I feel they wanted him to say like because he was like more subdued than anything else in the last movie. They want like one line where it's like that generic villain line where it's like, oh, this is good. This is Thanos' quote now. This is that he's inevitable.
Yeah, I just thought
And
when
it's not great. It's very cheesy, but it's like it fits the whole like this is an evil character sort of thing. Which
I just really like the quote that 2014 Thanos says where he's like, I've fulfilled my destiny, and then when he gets his head, when the old him gets his, and it says destiny fulfilled.
Yeah,
that was a
good.
badass line.
Yeah.
If that was the line that he stuck, like when he's disappearing and he goes, a different destiny is fulfilled or something like that, and he just like vanished. Like I don't know, that for me seemed like a way cooler line than.
So is this your gripe then on the movie?
Oh no, I have tons of gripes.
I
like
feel, I don't know, like him not saying anything, him being like, I gotta just accept this. I got like he's the character where he's like, I gotta man up now. I'm just gonna sit here and I just gotta disappear. Like I think that's the best way to come.
sorry, I made him. That is what happened.
Yeah.
But when right before the snap, he says, like, I wish he would have said, and destiny is fulfilled.
Oh, I thought you said
and then he
like
snapped.
He disappeared.
No.
Yeah.
Like, because he doesn't say anything when he disappears.
That's perfect.
Yeah, I wish he would have. But no,
he just flips him off as he's disappearing.
no. The only reason he has to say it now, I'm remembering this, is so that. It's so that Iron Man can say, "No, I am Iron," or he says, "I am Iron Man." It's just supposed to be. Yes.
Yeah.
It's just.
Did he say? Oh, he didn't say like, "Oh, who are you?" Or
No,
whatever?
he says.
Okay.
That's what you stupid Earthlings can't understand. I am inevitable, and then he snaps, and then Iron Man goes, holds up his hand, and then he goes like that, and then he goes, "Well, I am Iron Man," and then he snaps. And I'm like, that's so dumb that they banked this whole "I am inevitable" thing on just being able to at the end have Iron Man say, "Well, I am Iron Man."
You know, the more I don't think it's as bad as you're saying.
No, I think how he says it is worse than the actual line itself. He literally, I don't want to keep.
Yeah, because like
he's like,
it's more like it's slimy. It's like
like
It's like Voldemort-esque.
oh, it's just stupid.
Yeah.
It's just dumb. It doesn't. It does no, not like I want, and that's kind of jumping back to like, oh no, this dude's just pure evil. Yeah. Like it is a very just pure evil thing to say.
I like that his groupies are back, like the skinny guy,
the Black Order.
Yeah,
well, and that's
the Squidward looking.
The Squidward guy gets fucked up by
he's doing stuff. Right?
The captain of
Captain Marvel.
No, the captain of the soldiers in
Wakanda? There's like a
the
big
woman
guy that's get like.
The woman, when Captain Marvel has the gauntlet and they're all flying out and all the women come together, the first thing is the Squidward guy gets fucked up.
Decked,
But no. He gets stabbed with a spear and flipped over by the...
Was it Valkyrie?
No, he doesn't. No. Valkyrie was on the Pegasus.
Oh, it was...
Yeah. So, what's
I
her name?
don't
I
know
can't...
her name.
Yeah, I can't remember what her...
It's the bald lady.
It's
part of
Lupita, the girl from... She's from...
No, that's a different actress. Because Lupita plays like his girlfriend, like
it's
the
his.
bald lady.
Oh
is
yeah,
like,
you're right.
Like, he's like first in charge or whatever.
Yeah, the leader of the soldiers. Yeah, but you're right. Sorry, that was a blunder. But no, like he gets fucked up. But then you also see him after, like he's clutching his stomach as like everybody's disappearing.
Like, thank God I get to
well, as everybody's disappearing, he's like walking up and he's holding his stomach, and then all of a sudden he just turns to dust, and I'm like, damn, that dude got fucked up. But no, Carl. So what's your gripes?
I got a couple of them. I mean,
wow, this is
What?
different.
one is the
Unprecedented.
length of the movie, but
Yeah.
I mean that's everybody's gripe about it. I mean, 3 hours, that's a really long movie. you know?
Well, and for this movie, there are spots where
There
you
need
can
to be an
kind of
intermission.
tell. That's what my brother said. He's like, "Is there an intermission?" He had to pee like 14 times. Sorry. But yeah, like there, and the problem is there were scenes that I feel like could have been cut, and it would have
like
been okay.
like the car one.
Like the car one. That
For
was a
me,
bad
it
one.
was the 5 years later. Like they drug that one on. I felt like,
Yeah.
you know,
I mean, they could. Well, what? Just the 5 years later text on the black screen.
Yeah.
Your favorite. They could have put that.
5
They could have put that.
years
Yeah.
later.
They could have put that
They needed
over
it
the
extended.
shot.
It
They
needed to
could
be
have
10 more minutes.
10 more minutes of like 5. Then you wait 3 minutes, and then later pops up, and then another 3 minutes, and then
Like,
5
that's
years
why
later.
This thing is
Yeah.
3
Yeah.
hours long.
But no, I agree. Like, why wouldn't you just put that over the shots of New York? Where
Yeah,
there's-
as it like focuses in on like a scene, you know.
Cars.
Well, yeah, and it's
That car scene
because then
also
you get a
needed to
lot
be
of like
longer, too.
helicopter shots of New York where you see that like the Statue of Liberty is now a harbor,
Yeah.
and all that stuff. Like, put it over that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, save us 20 seconds here and there, and then this movie could have been just like a 2:15 movie, and it
Yeah.
would have been great.
Yeah. I don't know if you could cut that much out of the movie.
No, I don't think you
I
cut
don't
that much out
know.
either. I think you there's enough where you could have at least
Yeah, if
shortened
you're-
it by
if
like
you're
10,
short-
15
yeah.
minutes
Yeah.
at least, you know.
10, I would feel 10 or 15 seconds. You're cutting seconds out of this movie. Like, what you guys are just
Okay,
cut seconds out of
okay,
this
fine.
movie, not
But
Fine,
there's
ma-
enough
but
stuff there that you
to
could cut a
shorten it.
decent amount out.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, them seeing like them
Like,
all the
because
stuff.
yes, this movie
with
is very long,
Professor-
but I don't really feel there was anything where I'm like, well, that, like, yeah, I said it dragged on in the middle, but if like any of those scenes in the middle were like shorter, like it would have just would have been a complete clusterfuck.
Yeah.
the
'Cause that
Professor
was-
Hulk doing like the
The dab.
picture thing.
Yeah,
That was
scene
that
was
drug a long
That could have been
time.
just like a
That
bonus
was-
feature, extra scene.
I mean,
on, like the
you could
Blu-ray.
you could keep that
Oh, the
scene, but
bonus
just
scene,
cut out
it's
little
5 minutes long.
bits. Like that was a 5-minute scene that didn't need to be 5
It
minutes.
did go on too long.
Yeah.
It's like that felt like maybe improv or something.
Yeah, definitely. And
Yeah, Paul Rudd just says take your fucking phone pretty much.
take the
It's
Get
goddamn-
outta here.
Take the goddamn phone. Yeah.
like that was not scripted. He just says
Okay.
that.
Well,
And then
yeah.
another gripe of mine is all the women coming together because it felt like they were missing their lead woman in Black Widow. I mean, if you think about it, she's been there since Iron
dead.
Man 2. I know she's dead, but it felt like it would have been better with her in it just because of how long she's been with the franchise, you know,
It was kind of missing.
since Iron Man 2.
I still feel that scene was very
I
pandering.
no okay. Having seen it again, I when we came out of the movie, that was one of the first things I said. Is that like, oh wow, Disney fails once again to actually, include women. They have to kind of be separate and like all at once. But throughout the first battle, I mean, when like how they pass, like when they're passing the gauntlet between thing, it goes from Hawkeye to
Peter Parker.
Black Panther, then to Peter Parker.
Oh yeah.
but
And
then-
Captain
then-
Marvel gets it right.
Yes, and that's when you see that moment. But then in there, you also Peter Parker saved by Valkyrie on the horse. Then he gets
Yeah.
ripped off of that, and then
No, actually, he
not
was
as-
saved by Captain Marvel.
nope, Carl, you're wrong. He
Yeah,
was
you
Oh,
guys
that's
can
the-
talk
the-
about
the
it.
first
I
time,
just
that's
said
right.
I
Yes,
don't
the
think
first
that.
time.
The
So
first time.
what happens is he's flying around.
And then Ant-Man goes up Thanos' butt.
Yep, and then you're absolutely right. And I really wanted
And then he becomes giant. and
what's
just
her
gets
name?
walloped Thanos' butt.
Evangeline Lilly. What's her character's name? Wasp. I
Yes.
wanted Wasp to go up his butt. Like, God,
Yeah.
if we're talking about gender equality,
Come on, why did
come
she
on.
go up the butt?
Why did we have to have Ant-Man go up his butt? Why can't
Disney,
Wasp?
Why
You
not just
failed.
treat it like anal beads?
can't-
Ant-Man and Wasp going up his butt.
They're like slingshotting, and then she gets up into like his lower colon, and he just stays right by the rectum, and then just
Yeah,
God.
they just needed to get an army of ants to go up his butt.
yeah. But no, I feel like seeing it again, I feel like they did do like the kind of pandering sort of like we got to bring all the women together.
Like that
I liked it. I mean, goddamn, Captain Marvel.
And like you said, like it's cool. Like they're just stabbing people and just throwing people.
Just like highlighting them, and then you see a point where, because a lot of the characters got lost in the din of battle, and so having that time where you see them.
We didn't forget you.
Yeah, but you did see them throughout the battle too.
Yeah,
like you
that's
see flashes of everybody, and
Yeah,
I mean,
Paltrow and her
yeah,
lady
she say, well, it's the rescue suit. Is that what it's called?
Yeah,
I
rescue
can't
her.
Or
remember.
something. Yeah,
so.
she saves Peter Parker too. So it goes
Okay.
from Valkyrie, and then he falls off of the horse with Valkyrie. And then she picks him up, and she's like, "I got you, kid." And it's like, "Oh, that's sweet." It's
yeah.
like they adopted him.
Yeah, it should have been every time he's like, "Can I get your number?" Every single.
He's just a horny teenage boy.
He's
He's
been
like-
dead for 5 years. What do you think I want? The first
She
thing I
saves
want.
him, and he goes, MILF.
Yeah, it's just like, you know, I'm
And then she
fucking
just fucking
happy.
throws it.
Happy's always hitting on my aunt. Let me just hit on somebody. No, but so Carl, do you have any other ones? So
My
I
last
would say
one-
I do. I think that scene is more thought out than
you
than
were
I
like, oh,
originally
yeah.
originally said.
My last one is Captain Marvel. I mean, she's only in
That's
the movie for
good.
like what,
That-
10
that
minutes
is a good point,
of like
yeah.
the whole 3 hours.
She did not need to be in this
why
movie
why
at
give her
all.
a solo movie then?
She's
before
helping
this?
out everybody. Like she's kind of the universal Captain America.
But I'm
of
just saying,
course,
why-
she's going to be flying from like
That doesn't help
Star
this movie.
No, but when she comes, it's the most badass entrance of all. They're getting bombarded by this rain of laser fire, and then all of a sudden the turrets just turn up into
she,
this
like,
cloud,
destroys his ship.
into this cloud, and then everybody's like, "What are they aiming at? What are they aiming at? What's happening? This is crazy! Like, why are they suddenly not being attacked by these super laser beams? And they're getting shot. They're shooting into this cloud, and you don't see it. And then all of a sudden, you see fucking Captain Marvel fly in, dodging all these things. And of course, now her signature move, which is one of the gripes I have, is that her signature move is now, you know what? There's a giant spaceship. I'm gonna fucking
punch it.
wrecking ball through it, and that's gonna save everything. And
She's
it
the
was
Diez
dumb.
Machina.
She
goes of
that's a
Lord of the
great.
Rings.
She's
She
literally
only has
the Deus
the-
Ex Machina
She
of this
only has
goddamn film.
3 scenes, like
know,
really in this
but
movie.
look at her
Like she
3
saves
scenes.
Tony Stark in the opening,
Well-
flies away for like an hour, and then she's like
Yeah.
But
in
her
the
three
in
scenes
the
are so
movie.
dope. Because
and
there's that.
the other
She's a
scene,
cool
the
character,
middle.
but there's no character development. Like I'm not gonna like Brie Larson is.
That's
not
why
the
she
best
gets.
actor.
She's the
She
last.
she has such a blank face when she's like trying to act.
That's what she's the last movie before this movie. She
And
had
it's a
all of
movie
her
that you don't
character-
even need to see before this.
Bullshit, you get all the character development in that so that she doesn't necessarily need to have character development here. You've seen how she becomes
She's such a one.
The middle of the movie,
that's
all she's doing
Captain
is
America
standing
in the
there.
first Captain America movie and the first Avengers. He's a one-note character.
I feel in the first Captain America movie, like he's kind of struggling with this idea of this like icon of Captain America because he wants to
Fuck
save people.
you.
And there's like montage scenes where he has like the really old Captain America suit where it has like the wings on it.
Where
it's, like,
he's
the really
going-
old
he's-
school.
no,
like it's the
that-
propaganda stuff. He's like, this is not what I signed up, for.
Yeah, and that's when he
Like, he's
becomes the
struggling with it.
bullshit. No, I'm never gonna be a bad person. I have this insane moral compass. That's when he becomes the Captain America. Is when he realizes the actual United States government isn't
It's
going
been like
to.
7 years since I've seen that movie. So
Yeah.
if I saw it again, I'd probably be like, yeah,
But
you're right.
they're just parading him around, and he goes, "This isn't good. I want to be the goodest person. I need to save people." And so
Like,
he has to go in and
we
save
gotta
that.
work on your grammar.
He has to save the prisoners of war where Bucky is. That's his he uses his powers for good, and then from there he becomes the Captain America that we see
Well,
in this
Captain Marvel is
flashback.
just
of-
an amnesia storyline. That's
but
not very
she
interesting.
she learns to be this like moral compass in the same way that he does too. And then by the end, she's like, no, the world, it's greater than, the universe is bigger than the Earth, so I need to be the Captain America of the universe. And so that's why she isn't there. But then you see her come back, and yeah, she is definitely one note. Yeah, she is kind of dead. But god damn it, you see her fly and destroy that fucking ship, and then
I don't have a problem with it. I just have a problem with only seeing her in like 3 scenes.
No, I know, but those scenes are badass, dude. She busts the
really,
ship.
the middle scene is badass where she's just standing there
I
getting
don't
ripped on
even-
by
I don't
rocket.
even count that. But the 3
Yeah, and that was her like trying to act, and then I was like, yeah, I like Brie Larson, but she's not a very good actress.
Okay. Yeah, she's very like
Solemn, just
just neutral face.
yeah.
And of course, people will call it a resting bitch face. She's actually been like very much criticized for her like press tour for this movie, or not very much.
It was for
One
Captain
fucking
Marvel.
no, it was for this. One fucking dude wrote that her body language during the press tour for this, because she was with Thor and she was with Don Cheadle's,
Yeah.
was like, she's like, oh, she's just posturing to like make people like her more and all this bullshit. Like she was giving Chris Hemsworth like puppy dog eyes to make him like her more. It was so dumb.
They're just
But-
having fun. They're
Yeah,
they're
that's the thing.
friends at this point.
They're going on
They
a
went
fucking
through this-
press tour. Do you
yeah.
know how hard a press? Like she's
Yeah.
also faking. Like she's probably putting on this air of like, oh, I have to be like, because she has to be like a superhero now. Like that's just part of the gig. But
Yeah,
I don't
I'm sure
wanna-
They can like build upon this character and make her more interesting. Just these first 2 movies that she's in, she hasn't been that interesting.
no, she's a Deus Ex Machina for sure. I mean, she literally gets headbutted by Thanos, which is the other scene that she was in when she's preventing
when he
him from
gets the-
snap.
he
When
gets
he
the-
gets the gauntlet, and she's preventing
when
him
he
from
takes the
snapping.
power
Oh yeah,
gem
when he takes the
and
power
back.
Yeah,
stone
that's the
out
only
and
way
then
he can get her
boom.
off is then
Yeah.
he puts the power gem in. I mean, that's such a fucking badass
Yeah,
scene.
that
Is that
was
like
pretty badass.
just headbutt and she's just not like that's kind of why I like her
Oh.
deadpan face. Is that he headbutts her and she's still like no facial change, just holding his
They
hand.
did that in the Justice League movie with Superman and Wonder Woman.
Oh,
They did the exact
I think
same thing.
yeah.
So it's like
That's
yeah, who
pretty
could
funny.
you- Yeah, do it.
I
first.
didn't know
Yeah.
that. I wonder. Yeah, that's actually kind of funny. I didn't know that, but I just thought it was a really good
Well,
scene
it's
that like.
funnier than that because they go back and forth like they do
Oh
it a
yeah.
couple of times.
Okay, I have seen that.
Yeah, and then
Or
Superman just gets really pissed. Just-
Yeah, he just like because he's evil at that
Yeah.
point, and yeah. But those are her 3 big scenes, or that like, or like her actual, not like the projection thing, is her saving Tony Stark, her destroying that fucking
Yeah.
ship, and then just not backing down for Thanos.
Yeah. Because there's a lot of strong characters, but she's clearly like she's the god character.
Yeah.
And
And that's the Deus Ex Machina. That's
Yeah,
like
she's the
such a
Deus-
perfect. That's I didn't think about it that way, but that's literally the only thing that she
yeah,
gets.
I'm like, oh, she comes in, and I'm like, this is the friggin' Eagles from Lord of the Rings.
Yep, the Eagles that could have been here the whole time.
Yeah.
No.
So what are your gripes?
My gripes. What was
Yeah,
it?
bring out your list.
So many fucking brands dropped. Like so many weird brands dropped.
Axe body spray.
Axe body spray was the weirdest one. Audi, I guess I can kind of get because they'll pay a lot. Ben and Jerry's was
things-
weird. Fortnite was weird.
When was the Ben and Jerry's?
So
thing?
when they're trying to solve
Is what,
when
Thor
they're
eating Ben
no
and Jerry's
no
at
when
one
they're
point?
solving time travel, they're
'Cause
all
that
they're
would
having
make
these
sense.
powwows trying to figure it out,
Oh.
trying to figure out where the
Yeah.
stones are.
Yeah,
and one of the
they're,
things,
like, doing research and
um,
stuff. Yeah.
Hulk is eating out of a gigantic Ben and Jerry's like thing,
God.
where it's just it looks like
Was
know,
it when they were
like-
trying to like figure out what
Where the stones
places
were.
to time
Yeah,
it
Some
travel
people
to?
were
Yeah.
complaining
Okay.
about the fat jokes with Thor, and this Thor should have came in and like swiped that ice cream. From
no,
Hulk.
because he wasn't
give me that.
fat. He was just he had a beer belly.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
that's
from
it.
all the drinking.
Yeah, he's just
well,
the
they
guy.
were making. They're like, oh, what's he full of? Cheese whiz? Like his mom
yeah.
tells him to like eat his salad.
Well, yeah, but that's because like I don't know.
They're
For
fat
me,
jokes.
no, they're fat jokes to a drunk. To a guy who is only fat because he has a beer belly. It's not like this is a like morbidly obese person who clearly has either like poor self-control issues or something, or is genetically
he's going-
predisposed
yeah.
for being a larger
Well, he
person.
went through a
They're not making
traumatic
fun of
incident.
it.
Yeah, like
Yeah, but they're not making fun. They're not making fun of him for being like a morbidly obese person. They're making fun of him because he let himself become a drunkard who has a fat ass beer belly. Like,
I just like the
there's a
novelty.
difference.
They're wholesome jokes.
There's like I guess I can see why people get mad because everybody's offended by
everybody's
people getting
mad.
called by being called fat. But like
Everybody's mad because everybody was looking forward to seeing those abs.
That's why I loved it. We go.
it was so great.
He's like, hey, my friends are here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be Fat Thor in this instance. Yeah, he's just like, hey, my friends are here, giving everyone a hug, and you see that glorious gut.
He grabs Rocket and just starts jiggling him against
On
his
the
belly.
belly,
It's like
nice.
that's the weirdest thing.
Yeah.
No
He's
regular.
like, it feels so good.
No, Fat Thor was definitely one of my favorite parts of the movie.
The highlight of the film.
Yeah,
The highlight
and
of
the fact that they kept it throughout instead of giving him like a
Yeah.
miraculous like change.
I was kind of waiting for it to be like, oh, I'm just skinny again. 'Cause I'm a
Yeah,
god.
like when I call Mjolnir and the axe Oathbreaker, and I get my new Stormbreaker, whatever. I get my new armor.
He's still
He's still fat.
Yeah.
I kind of assumed once he does that, all of a sudden it just slims
Yeah.
down, it just melts away. He's
That's
still
where the
fat.
CG
You
goes
see
to
like
get
a lightning
millions
bolt.
of dollars.
You see like a lightning bolt come down from the sky and then he changes.
That's where
And he's still
Quinn,
fat.
That's where they go in another
Yeah.
10 minutes. Is the gut transforming into abs.
Yeah, it's the hair.
Yeah,
that's
everything's
the hair of. That's where they decided to cut it. That's the hair of the
That's true. That's the scene they
Aquaman.
cut. Yeah.
Yeah, the Aquaman hair where all the budget went to in Aquaman. That's actually the scene. They're like, we need to cut this down a little bit, and
Dude,
that's
I
the
tried watching Aquaman again recently. Couldn't.
what? It's not that bad.
It's fun.
I enjoyed
It's
it
so
at least a
silly.
little bit, but no, gripes. I mean, we already talked about the Captain America bullshit. The timeline thing was a pain. It's just dumb
Yeah,
because it's like,
And I'll agree with Carl. Like, yeah, Captain Marvel's really underplayed in this, and I would have like. Her movie was right before this, so I thought she would have played a bigger part in this movie. That's kind of what I think a lot of people are assuming going into this movie is that she
yeah, I can see that.
gets here to do more stuff.
I think people also would have been pissed because I mean, it was a very much original Avengers heavy movie. Like,
Yeah.
Jesus,
yeah.
at the end you see like in the
What's-
credits you see like the original Avengers. They have like all the fanfare of like these are their signatures, all that. Like having the slightly
you have,
newer
like, the
characters.
original Avengers, well, 3 of them go off of that.
Yeah.
Like Thanos said first.
Yeah, exactly. And and it's also, yeah, it's the people who probably aren't going to be in the newer movies. Like Captain Marvel, I think, is going to be in the newer movies.
Oh, for sure.
She's going to be probably a
And they've
linchpin of
already-
Phase
Kevin
4.
Feige has already said that she's gonna be like the Captain America
Yeah,
of the next
exactly.
phase.
She's going to be
She's
Phase
gonna be
4 Captain
spearheading
America.
the
So
next-
No
obviously,
pressure, Brie Larson, you
so
got it.
obviously, spend more time, kind of wrapping up the stories of the people who aren't going to be in Phase 4.
And
like-
which is why I was okay with it
Yeah.
being such a heavy original Avengers cast.
Yeah.
movie.
Exactly. And so that's
Yeah,
my
I'm just
whole.
trying to think. Do you guys feel there's any actor that has the gravitas that like Robert Downey Jr. had? Because like
His
I-
daughter.
For like the next phase.
The action. Oh man, if we have like a little kid
Little
Iron Man, that
yeah.
girl was so stinking cute. Like,
yeah, she was really cute.
oh man,
Are we talking about for like the next phase?
yeah.
Like who like. Because it was more or less like, yeah, the leaders were Captain America and Iron Man.
Yeah.
And now we've lost both
But
of
do
those.
we need Iron Man? Like I know that sounds weird, but I think the only reason comparatively that
I
Iron
guess-
Man was so
I
big,
guess
well, yeah, he had a
Spider-Man-
big thing in Civil War
I
too.
guess
Like,
Spider-Man
his-
would be the new Iron Man, essentially, since his suit is also kind of an Iron Man
yeah,
suit.
and maybe Don Cheadle will be back as like a mentor
Okay,
as
yeah.
War Machine, which
Yeah.
I like Don Cheadle as that in that character.
He's so
I like that we could
He
still
is. But he can be like the wise like sage of the group.
Yeah.
I do like that we could possibly still have cameos from these characters. I mean, if you
Except
think
for
about
one
it, I mean, you could
or
still.
two.
Except for 3.
No, you could have
Three?
Robert Downey
Captain
Jr.
America.
as Iron Man.
Oh
still
yeah,
have
and
a
Captain
cameo.
America.
You could still have Iron Man cameo. I mean,
Well,
if you
and 4.
why, because if you think about
Thanos. Yeah.
it, like his last
No more
They
Thanos.
just Thanos
his,
cameos.
his
all
last scene was like a video message to his daughter, so he could have tons of video messages before that.
Oh,
You know,
God.
So what you're saying is he just took one night and just spent.
Yeah.
spent doing like a whole bunch of like video
Okay,
messages. No fucking.
Hey, you're
way.
18.
No.
Happy 16th birthday.
But then,
16.
Wear a condom.
but then Captain America also isn't
I
dead.
didn't.
I didn't, and I had to get you.
Bro. Captain America also isn't dead, so he could still technically cameo in like a Captain America, Falcon, Bucky.
See, this
know.
is where the nerd in me will start asking a bunch of questions. It's not necessarily a gripe. It's like, okay, Captain America's old, but he still has that superhero or that super soldier's serum. So like, he could still
He
technically
did
use that.
kind of age in the ice. Like he did age a little bit in the ice, even though he was in there for 70 years. He didn't age 70 years, but he did age a little bit. It's just slowed down. So they pulled him out in the 90s, correct? Or was it in the 2000s? It was
I
like
think it's
late-
supposed to be like right before the first
Avengers.
Avengers. So
Oh.
it's like
Which was,
2010 or something.
what, 2011 or
Yeah.
something?
yeah. So I mean, he was what 20.
We'll say like 28 or something.
No, he was 18. Or how old was he in the
In
The
Captain
fir-
America?
first
Yeah,
one?
when he became the super soldier.
Shit. I want to say
Probably like
Shit.
mid-20s.
about 25, maybe.
25.
Yeah.
So then, yeah, so he's 25. Then from like, when did the first Avengers come out?
That's
2012.
2012. So 2012 to
then
2021, that's another 10
seven-
years. So like
yeah,
34.
Yeah.
Plus, like, he went back in time to like right after he went in the ice, I would assume.
That's what I would guess.
That's what I
Yeah.
would assume.
And so that's like
70 years.
that's 70 years until the end of Captain America.
So
plus
we're looking
another
at like
10
a-
years. So that's
So
80
he's, like,
years.
over
80
100
years,
years old or
plus
something.
30. So he's like 115 or so.
Yeah.
So like I mean, I don't think the super soldier serum is gonna do that well. But then
It could.
Bucky's in a similar thing.
They put him in cryogenic sleep though.
Yeah, so he wouldn't have
Well,
aged in that.
Yeah,
but
he would come out, go back in, come back out,
Yeah.
go back in, you know.
Yeah, so I mean, he's probably. I mean, yeah, they didn't really. That is kind of. I would say that's a gripe too. Is that like, there's no.
It's just like when you think about it, too, there's just so much packed in this movie, and it's like, yeah, you really want to think, okay, the logistics of like how old he is, but also like he has these superpowers. Like,
There's so
even
many
though
layers.
he's old, couldn't he still be Captain America?
Yeah, like he shouldn't be. Well, and
I'm old. I can't fight anymore.
well, and now
That's why he passed a shield on.
yeah.
But I'm just saying,
But he
has
could
the
still play like a
He has the
mentor.
super soldier serum. So should that
It's
matter?
like the hardest thing to fucking super soldier
Just
series.
imagine him as Master Roshi, okay?
Yeah, so
A
he can
pervert?
still fight them.
That'd be great. I would love it.
but-
if he's
but
the
not
master
for-
Roshi.
But not for like a long period of time, though. Because of his
I want
age.
to see him get the Master Roshi transformation where he's all buff.
And he's a pervert.
And he's a pervert, yeah.
That's
He's like,
what
well,
I
my wife's dead. I'm still
My
a
wife
pervert."
got cancer.
Yeah.
I didn't warn her about it sooner.
He's
Let me
"That's
pass
one
on my
thing I
knowledge to you,
forgot.
but only
oh,
if I
yeah,
can
you
see.
get cancer.
Oh yeah, we need to take you to the doctor, honey. And it's like, oh, too late.
He's busy eating that.
Yeah.
ass.
I'll pass down my knowledge to you if I
She
can.
got
touch
ass
your
cancer.
boobs.
She got ass cancer from him eating her ass too
Yeah.
much. Okay,
It's the tongue of the super
yeah.
soldier.
So we've been talking for a while.
Way
We've
too
got
long.
like an hour and 30 minutes
Okay,
about.
we got 2 more hours to
We got
go.
2 more. No, we're doing 10 hour or 12 hours. Remember?
That's right.
Yeah.
I thought you said 20.
Did I? Oh, well, let's do 12. And it's
Yeah.
an even
12's
4 minutes per
12's
minute
more
of the movie.
achievable, I think. Yeah.
No. So anything? Let's do wrap up. So
Okay.
Oh,
Carl, how would you rate this on a fuckery scale?
Oh, I totally fuck with this again.
No.
The
No.
fuckery scale. Oh, here we go. We got the scale.
Yeah. So what would it be?
Okay.
What do you-
fucking love this movie.
That's you.
Yeah,
that's
that's,
Okay,
five
wow.
that's me.
That's 5 out of 5
fucks.
fucks. No blowjobs. No hand jobs. Just classic 5 out of 5 fucks.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot. That's the half
Yeah, that's the
star.
half stars. You know what? I'll say I give it 4 fucks and a blowjob. So I give 2 fucks and a hand job about this movie. I think it's a great movie. I mean, I've seen it twice. I don't think I'll ever see it again.
You said that the first time.
Well, yes, but going back, I wanted to see once I heard about all the like Easter eggs and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, how many can I point out? And also, I wanted to know exactly what brands were mentioned in this. But yeah, I think at this point, after seeing it twice, I don't think I'll ever need to see it again. It's something that, as a movie, is not going to last because it's so referential to so many different things. Grant, even, we were talking about it last night, and he's like,
oh, he watched it too?
Yeah, he saw it 2 days ago. But and that's why he wanted to be on. But he's like, yeah, something that you can't just jump into. It would make absolutely no sense.
Well, Ari just jumped into Infinity War. So
well, but I think Infinity War is probably a little bit...
He didn't watch any of the other movies, though.
But that's an easier one to watch.
It's compared to this.
Yeah, it is more coherent than this one.
And it's like...
And like you said, self-referential. So it's like... Yeah, this movie, like... It'll be remembered being this groundbreaking thing. It's just a culmination of 10 years of, just...
What's your rate?
I'm getting to that, man.
Chillax, Carl. Jesus.
Like, none of this, I mean, there's similar series that have done stuff like, I mean, you have series like James Bond and Godzilla. They have, 20 movies under their belt, but that took, 50 years. They did, they circumvented that in 10 years. They brought characters that have been around, in the comics that feels like forever at this point. So for that, it's a very fun and exciting movie. I do think, you can't just watch this as a standalone movie, and that does really lower the score for me. So I'm gonna give it 3 fucks out of 5. So I give a fuck about this movie.
Damn, you give a fuck about this movie.
Yeah.
You're not even going to give it a little bit of a bump up because it allowed it kind of brought a younger group into comic books?
I think if I would,
because I definitely
think 10
think
years younger, this would easily be a 5 out of 5 for me. And I think, for the younger audience that grew up with these movies, I mean, going back to the first Avengers, maybe if you're a 10-year-old then and just at 17 or 7 years later, you're gonna love this movie. So if you're someone who grew up with these movies, you're gonna love that. I mean, I was an old ass man when they started this. I was 16 years old.
16.
When
Damn.
the first Iron Man came. So
Damn,
to be
you
fair,
were old.
I was done with superhero movies at this point.
Well, yeah, you said Sam Raimi's Spider-Mans were the best.
Within my friend group is that I saw Speed Racer, the Wachowski Speed Racer, over the first Iron Man. And if I could go back in time, I would do that shit again. I would still do that.
That's insane.
For me, it's a 5 out of 5 because this is the perfect movie to close the chapter of the original Avengers, everything that they set up. It's the perfect closing ending to it all.
But Carl, we are the film fucks. We aren't just the Marvel film fucks.
Yeah.
Would you say this is a perfect movie just thinking about cinema in general? Like you said, you don't think this is as good as Princess Bride.
You did say that, Carl.
Fucking take.
Come on, man.
Look at the fuckery scale, Carl.
Look at the sheet. Yeah, look at the sheet.
Can your integrity survive
We bumping
the
this
fact
with a blowjob or hand job?
Come on, it doesn't have to be a lot.
Dude, I am going to see this movie again. Once it comes out on Blu-ray,
It's not I would fuck with this again, Carl. That's not the rating anymore. It's I fucking love this movie.
But I do
But is this the best movie you have seen? No.
No, but it's up there.
But you don't.
It's up there.
You could
Make
still
a
put
sliding scale.
Yeah, you could still put a...
Why do you want me to lower my rating so much?
Because I feel like
because I have a soft spot for these movies, and
but
so
that doesn't.
I just always overrate
We
them
review
or something.
every kind of movie. So are you going to just be like everything that?
This is the most common type of movie that we watch and rate on a consistent basis.
So far, this is the last one, buddy.
It's the last one, buddy boy.
I mean, Godzilla's gonna be a lot like this. Godzilla's dinosaurs. like Avengers with dinosaurs, so that makes it a million times better. But we'll get to that when we get to that.
Yeah. No, I guess okay.
We're
So
seeing
you can.
Pikachu. That's gonna be fucking.
Oh
good.
man, I'm so excited for that. I've heard such good
Insane.
things.
It's actually good.
Yeah. Dude,
Okay, that's really surprising.
Wally,
I'm not good.
think of the
Ryan Reynolds.
think of the
That doesn't make it good.
think of the one. Yeah, have you
It's
Have you
not
seen-
Green
have you
Lantern.
have you
most
seen
of Ryan
Van
Reynolds'
Wilder?
movies, yeah.
It's not good.
Green
X-Men's
Lantern's not
Origins
good.
Wolverine.
There's one. That's a good one.
Green Lantern.
There's one thing we
I've
can
already said
really.
that.
Amityville
There's
horror.
one thing we can compare it to though. Is Detective Pikachu at least?
Yeah.
This Sonic the Hedgehog trailer.
Let's talk about it. All right.
Hold
You've
on.
been waiting 3 hours for this.
But no, this
We all watched it.
if
We
if
got
you were
some
going to
opinions.
compare the two, this movie's going to be Detective Pikachu is going to be a knockout. Like it's going to
Compared
compared
to
to
Sonic,
Sonic, like which is the only other competitor that's kind of doing the same
Well,
thing.
I just noticed the thing with Detective Pikachu is they took all the Pokemon designs, kept the same proportions, but gave them realistic textures.
Yes.
With Sonic, they're like they gave him more muscle mass. They made him more
Have
humanoid.
you-
And like when he opens his mouth, he literally just has human teeth. It's the most horrific.
He also
it's one of
has
the
no
most horrific
like
things.
they made him kind of more humanoid, but he also just
And
has
his hands are
he has
like
stick
so
legs.
gross looking.
he has stick legs and stick arm. Like
He still has
not
like
sti-
it's
it's
they should just be,
cylindrical.
like they
He-
should just be cylindrical. There's like a little bit of like he looks really
No.
emaciated. He's like
Emaciated.
It's disgusting.
Emaciated.
And that being said, apparently they like there's been so much backlash on that.
They're
actually
redesigning
They're
it.
changing his
They're
design.
changing him
That's
to
so
what
insane,
that fan
yeah.
guy created.
Yeah.
They're
Really.
changing it to be more like that, which is great.
That's-
Sorry they have to hire animators. Sorry they fucked up so bad. They need to
did-
change it.
The-
Sorry. Maybe
I will say
Why
like
not
yeah,
just
that's
keep
gonna
it
go
the way
down
it
as like
is, and then just compare it to Mario, the live action Mario.
But this,
yeah.
I wouldn't consider this a live action. Like it is in live action, but if we're just going off of the main character,
Yeah.
he's
We're gonna spend
completely
another 2 hours
CGI.
talking about this.
That's like it's augmented reality movie. It's not a live action movie.
Well, can we
And
just
you
agree
would
that
say-
all movies
It's
based on
augmented.
video games are terrible?
What?
What?
Excuse you? Get the
What?
fuck out.
Dude,
Excuse?
Mario, this
Oh,
Whoa.
the video game.
Think others-
I thought you said. I
Yeah,
thought you
based
said
on
like the
video
Sonic
games.
games suck.
no, just
Which a lot of them
no.
do.
I said movies based on video games.
What?
What?
You guys, we were talking earlier.
Dragon
before
Ball
this.
Z, Carl?
That's based off a video game.
The-
Wreck-It Ralph.
No, fuck you, Wally.
Dude,
You tried to
really,
pitch
Rampage,
this.
tell me that Dragon
Rampage.
Wreck-It Ralph isn't
Rampage.
based on.
Rampage. dude.
Assassin's Creed. We were
That was
talking about
pretty bad.
Assassin's Creed before
Rampage, though, dude.
Street
this.
Fighter.
Street Fighter.
I
What?
haven't
Mortal
seen that.
Kombat.
It's so good.
Yeah. I
It's
haven't
so
seen
good. Like, it's the best.
Tomb Raider.
Tomb
I
Ra-
heard that was okay.
Tomb Raider wasn't bad. I mean,
We should rewind that. Put that as my
no,
rewind.
God,
There's like
you've
three of
already
those.
done enough.
Yeah, you've done
I have
enough,
one
Carl.
slot left.
Get this away from before you can put that down. Which one?
Yeah, which one? There's
The
three.
first, the with
The very
Angelina
first
Jolie.
One. Yes, the
Okay.
very first one.
Christ.
Jesus. Yeah. Okay. So you know what, guys, we've been talking for a
Fuck
while.
off.
No, we have to. What do you fucking recommend this week?
Oh, okay. Or what? Yeah, what are you fucking with this week?
Yeah, there you go. Okay.
Go see the Sonic trailer.
Yeah, go watch
Before
the
they
Sonic
change
trailer.
it, yeah.
Carl, it's comic book day. Want to
Yeah.
throw out a comic book?
What did you guys think of Jim Carrey in the Sonic?
He's not fat. He doesn't look like an egg. His
Well,
name is Eggman.
At the end
Fuck.
of the trailer,
No,
he's
he's
bald and he has the like.
he
crazy
looks like the
mustache.
crazy mustache, but he's not fat.
I don't think Eggman needs to be fat.
Yes.
Yeah, dude.
He like
Really?
Jim Carrey has the gravitas for that kind of character. He needs to be like more boisterous though.
I don't know. I'm sick of the
It
Jim
looked like
Carrey
he
bit.
was really phoning it in this.
He just is doing his what's it what's the pet detective guy?
Oh yeah,
Ace
it was
Ventura.
very Ace Ventura.
It was very
yeah.
Ace Ventura. Like Ace
He needed
Ventura.
to bring
he
more of that
literally
like
does the,
Grinch Like in The Grinch, he has like a deep, boisterous voice. Like that would be perfect for Eggman.
That should be a rewound.
No.
No.
Sorry. Tomb Raider is on there, not the Grinch.
I'd rather watch The Grinch than Tomb Raider.
Really?
Yes, really.
I think I might be with you on that one.
Yeah,
Tomb
come
Raider is
on.
like the Grinch is just really, really bad.
It's really weird. It's fun though.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just sick
I
of this
guess-
Jim Carrey. Like it's just like an
Yeah.
Austin Power bit. Like it's
Yeah.
just I'm sick of that.
I
Humor.
hope they redesign him. They just make him fit.
I hope they give him like a fat suit and then have him like waddle into his little hover thing, and
Yeah.
it'd be so great.
It's
No,
gonna be the best film of 2019.
yeah, I guess
Sonic
we'll
that,
fuck with
Sonic
this raspberry bubbly. It's very good. It's way better than LaCroix.
Yeah.
And maybe
Enjoy a buble while you're reading your free comics from Free Comic Book Day,
and then
while
watching the Sonic
Day.
the Hedgehog movie. Okay,
On
That'd be the
Star
best
Wars
day.
Day.
we're probably
on
gonna
Star Wars Day.
happy live long
May
and
the Fourth be with
live
you.
live long and prosper.
Yep. You shall
have-
not pass.
You shall not pass.
You're a wizard, Harry.
You're a wizard. You're a wizard. Who is it? You're a wizard, Goku. Yeah. So we might throw an ad. We might not. I don't know if we'll end up doing it. We've been talking for so long. But you know what
Wax
you guys.
on, wax off.
You know what you guys can do. Fuck off.
Fuck off.
Nice ass.